Lamplight Audiobooks presents The Summer House Party by Caro Fraser, narrated by Helen Lloyd. Part 1, 1936. Chapter 1. It was an afternoon in late August, and Daniel Ranscombe was travelling on the 4:49 train from Waterloo to Surrey. The train drew to a creaking halt just outside the sleepy village of Staplow, and settled with a hiss of steam into the summer silence. Dan gazed out of the window at a field of mournful-eyed cows twitching their tails at flies. Half-remembered lines of poetry from school slipped into his mind. Something about a train stopped at a country station. No one left and no one came on the bare platform. Tea-something. Addlestrop and willows, willow-herb and grass, and meadow-sweet, and haycocks high. He tried to string the verses together. He'd known them by heart once, but his lazy mind wasn't up to it. He stretched his legs out, closed his eyes, and contemplated in his mind the coming house-party, which was being hosted by his godmother, Sonia, and her husband, Henry Haddon, the renowned artist. The prospect of spending 10 days at the fag end of summer, enjoying the comforts of a fine country house, was more than agreeable, especially as there would be other young people there, in the shape of Sonia's niece, Meg, and Paul and Diana Latimer, to keep things lively. Meg he had yet to meet, though he had heard a few things about her from both Paul and Diana. The Latimers were the son and daughter of old friends of the Haddons, and Dan knew them well. Diana was a regular on the London social scene, and she and Dan flirted with one another whenever their paths crossed, though more as a matter of course than with any genuine conviction. Diana's older brother, Paul, had been Dan's senior by 3 years at Eton, and then at Cambridge, and Dan had certain misgivings which he freely admitted were born out of envy and resentment, about meeting him again. It seemed he was constantly being made aware of Paul's achievements, which markedly eclipsed Dan's so far unspectacular headway in the world. Paul had been a veritable hero to Dan at school, athletic, brainy, captain of the first 15, and head of house, friendly and decent, full of charm and self-confidence. When Dan had encountered him again at Cambridge, the schoolboy charm had begun to wear a trifle thin. The self-confidence was turning into self-importance, and the blood...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?